Hey everyone, just before we begin, this video is a re-edited upload of a reaction from our previous and now deleted channel, so please check that you subscribe to this new channel here, enjoy the review, and we look forward to seeing you in some new material coming very soon. Hi there and welcome back to Japan, where we're going to be checking out a little bit more of DREAMCATCHER, one of the groups who we decided to keep on listening to after our South Korean World Tour Wednesday episode. And yeah, I'm really excited about hearing this because I just heard a recommendation about this today. Apparently this has just come out. DREAMCATCHER, who only very recently had the new single Scream from their new album, have apparently released a song called Endless Night. Which means it reminds me of Bandmaid's Endless Story for some reason. And this song is apparently a Japanese version. It's a Japanese song. I think it's been written for a Japanese EP. I know how the whole thing works with K-pop and sometimes J-pop as well, where they do different versions of different songs, but sometimes the song is written specifically for a foreign language version. I don't know whether this started out as a song that was written for a Japanese market or if it was originally a Korean one rewritten for the Japanese market. I really don't know. I'm just going to enjoy it on the basis of what it is, and at least I'll be able to pick up a few more words if it's Japanese, even if I won't be able to pick up the whole thing. As always, DREAMCATCHER are really interesting for being different from a lot of the other groups, especially K-pop groups. That's one of the main reasons we keep on following them. They tend to have interesting things. I did say with the single that they just released off their new Korean album, Scream, I said that it maintained their ability to be more interesting than their peers, but it did feel a little bit like they were just sort of dropping a first single that was a surefire pop hit. It just kind of sounded like they were aiming kind of fairly squarely in the pretty more generic territory than we'd normally expect from them. So not knowing if this is a new song or not, I'm going to work on the assumption this is definitely a new song rather than just a new version of an older song. Endless Night. You can check it out, hopefully enjoy it. As always, they have like interesting themes and interesting little genre blurring moments in this song, so I'm really looking forward to a bit of that. It's 3 minutes and 20, so let's jump in now and we'll talk afterwards. This is Endless Night, the Japanese version at very least by DREAMCATCHER. Breath and play. Okay, that was not what I expected. We got a lot to unpack here, but we also got to deal with some shock value first of all. Now, if that wasn't written for the Japanese market, I'd be very surprised, because, I mean, that in a lot of ways, wow, it's really hot in here, I've got to turn down the temperature while I'm at it. It did feel down temperature. That did feel like a really Japanese-style song in that it evoked a lot of memories of a lot of Japanese sort of girl band meets rock crossovers that we've had. I know that one of the things that I've always found so interesting since doing this channel, because I hadn't listened to so much of those sort of styles of fusion, you know, the girl band meets rock thing that was so popular in Japan until I started doing this. I'm interested in how many variations there have been of that in the Japanese system, you know, all the way from things like, you know, you got your Baby Metals on one side, you've got Lady Baby, you've got Passcode, all very different approaches to how you do that. And these guys had very much their own approach to it as well, in that they sounded very much like they were taking the core pinnings of K-pop, what made K-pop so good, you know, sort of the good heavy beat stuff, you know, really sort of good production, that sort of knowledge of rhythm, you know, including good hip-hop elements and things, and then they were just sort of throwing in more musicality, adding more detail, more sort of actual, you know, enjoyable content to the songs. So in a way, that was something that I had always liked about them, but I've got no problem with them going in a different direction with that. Now, like I say, when I'd heard the most recent single Scream, my problem with that was more, like I say, that it felt more like everything about the writing had been simplified, and they'd kept in those interesting sort of like rockier sounds and things, but the song felt a little bit more like they'd just gone down to the bare basics of what a pop song needed to do and kept it with a little bit of a musicality and, you know, had some guitars and things just to make it more interesting. This, however, seems to have gone in the total opposite direction, in that they have dropped almost all of the things that you would associate with K-pop in this song. This is not to say that K-pop has no variation, but let's be honest, most of K-pop fits into a fairly consistent bracket. Now, this, for a start, like I say, the drum, it might well have been programmed into a machine. I mean, drum machines are fantastic now. They're really, really difficult to tell from the real thing. But whether it was programmed into a drum kit or not, it was clearly, drum machine or not, it was clearly intended to sound like a proper drum beat, and it came across sounding that way. It was dynamic. They didn't just stick to, okay, here's your dancey beat, keep it going. Instead, what they did is they had it sort of with little fills, little builds up, little bits where you're getting the build up to the, you know, build up to the next section. You had your bits where it was pumping along like a rock beat. You had your bits where it slowed down, sped up. The beat was part of the progression of the song, which is something you wouldn't usually do with a dancey pop group. I love the fact that, I mean, I'm no choreography expert, as I always say, but I know when something looks good. And the choreography, I mean, whoever did the choreography, class job for the fact they managed to make it work with just how dynamic the sort of movement of this song was. Yeah, from an instrumental perspective, I'm more than willing to accept anyone who says that, okay, there's nothing particularly clever in the writing of the instrumentation. It is your normal sort of hard rock song. But damn, it's a good hard rock song. You know, rock song or hard rock song, whatever one you want to call it. It's good at doing what it does. It has the same energy you'd expect from a rock song. You know, sort of barrels along with that same sort of power. You know, the instrumentation, whether you regard it as up to the level of guitar virtuosos and the sort of slightly snooty standards we sometimes have, whether or not, you can't deny that was a good, like, guitar rock song. And then to flesh that out is the fact that it had a really good, interesting melody. Like I said, the rhythm underneath, you know, being so dynamic and so interesting, that's what made it, you know, compared to what you'd expect from a normal pop song, that's what really gave room for everything else to come to life. But they rewarded that with a good chorus. You know, when that chorus is sung, it's catchy, it's stuck in my head right now, that's a great sign. It's one that you'd come back to and go, hey, I want a catchy rock song. So in a way, although this is so different from their normal approach, this does actually embody what you want from sort of a pop rock crossover in, yeah, like I said, there's millions of ways of doing this, many effective ways, but this, you know, really embodies that in a very different way from what we've seen from them maybe before. And I just think that this really works. It reminds me a little bit of Yanakoto Sotomute, who go for that more straight rock meets vocals performance style. It was catchy, it was interesting, it was dynamic, but it was also straight enough rock that it could be enjoyed by a fairly general audience. I really hope this does well for them in Japan. They're one of the K-pop groups, like I say, I want to see them do well, because everything I've gathered from them just gives me an impression that they are more artistically kind of free, less pressured. There seems to be more of a creative atmosphere around this group than I think some of the negativity that a lot of us know is coming out of some other places in the Korean pop music industry. I'm not saying this isn't the case everywhere, but obviously there's been a lot of tragedies and things in the K-pop industry of more than just a few recent years. So it's nice when you see a group who seem to just be able to get involved in some expressive craziness. And the fact this differs so much from the song that they released just a few days before, to me, is very refreshing. So whether you like this one or the other one, if you like both, whether you like neither, you've got to admit this is a very positive thing to see coming out of any group. I think they've really delved into brilliant. I like the fact the video was like fun and light. You know, it matched the song, and yet it also had that colourful sort of playfulness that you get from a K-pop video. And it was really nice to see that kind of fun dynamic that K-pop videos often have thrown on top of something which was actually kind of, you know, if you strip it all away and you just look at it as what it is, that was just a straight hard rock song with a really good chorus. So I really enjoyed that. Also thought the bridge was, you know, like I say, bridge can make or break a rock song, or any song really, but rock songs especially, in my humble opinion. In this case, it was simple, but it was effective. You know, didn't do anything overly showy, no guitar solos or anything like that, as you'd probably expect. But what it did do is it had your normal two sections. It had the sort of big sung bit with the strings underneath, and then it broke down, and then you went into the final chorus. Just everything about this kind of worked in a simple, direct, likable way. So yeah, I'm impressed with that. I'm going to go back and listen to that again, definitely, and I think that would be one of those songs that will sit nicely on my playlist. It nicely balances out a lot of the rock songs you hear by more straight rock bands who don't have access to as many singers. Another thing I just want to throw in, by the way, I've often said about the woman who does the rap in Dreamcatcher, in that she seems to be very talented at what she does, and I think she went from being quite interesting to kind of, in some of the more recent songs, I felt like she was maybe just kind of playing to the modern, and I've got to admit, far less interesting sort of style of rap. If you haven't, you've probably heard about the Snoop Dogg thing where he did an interview, and Snoop Dogg, it was actually on his own show, and he was impersonating what modern rappers sound like, and it was just like da 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 da. And it's true, you know, I think everyone knows between mumble rap and trap, you know, rap has taken a bit of a downward spiral, and luckily it seems to be coming back in the last couple of years, and we're getting some better stuff finally. But I felt like maybe she was pandering towards those styles a little bit. What was really interesting here is that I loved when the hip-hop bit of this came in, when that break came in, the beat that came in was suddenly it went for a sort of hip-hop beat, but it fit perfectly. That break, everything about that fit perfectly, and her whole flow, her whole rhythm, the whole way she delivered that, even in Japanese. I don't know if I'm guessing she speaks Japanese, because, anyway. But her whole flow on that was just brilliant. I loved the rhythm. I thought that was really helped make the song. And again, that's something that as a K-pop group or as a pop group as a general, you maybe have the facility to do that a rock group can't always do. They haven't always got someone who can do that. And I love the fact they took advantage of that. So as well as having your normal bridge, you also had that really cool break in the second verse where it went hip-hop for a second. Just elevated everything. So yeah, anyway, enough waffle. I really like that. As always, get in the comments, tell me what you think, whether you liked it or not, whether you know the band or not, whether you've heard the song or not, all of these things. Get in there, tell us what you think. I'm really interested to see them. I do read all the comments, even if I don't get a chance to reply to everything. I'm certainly reading them, and I do keep those things in mind for future content and when I'm discussing things with you guys in future. If you want to get involved in more of a discussion, remember there's a link to our Discord in the description below, as well as our Reddit, which is a great place to suggest new songs. And if you really like us and want to support us, then there's also the Patreon. So big thanks to everyone who does support our Patreon. I mean, as I keep on telling you guys, it's the reason why we got nice lighting, nice camera, nice sound, nice backdrop, and all these posters that you guys have helped me get and everything. So really appreciate it. And as always, for now from Japan, thank you so much for tuning in, and until I see you soon on the next video, ciao ciao. Thanks for watching. Feel free to check out more of our hundreds of videos we got online on this channel right now, or get involved in the discussion with us at the many social media links we've got in the description below, where you can suggest new videos and artists for us to check out on the channel. Or you can just do the usual YouTube stuff and comment, like, subscribe. You know how this works by now.